So when I go in and I point out these things, I just want you to open up your mind. I want you to think critically. When this book says that these are the children of Israel, that is true. When you are a child, you think as a child. Your book says it. Whether you believe in the New Testament or the old dirty bastard Testament, whichever one you choose, that is a good saying. Okay. When you was a child, you thought as a child. But when you become a man, you put away childish things. And it just seems like it is very difficult for us to put away some of these childish things. Okay. Your mind is mature. Your mind has grown up. Now, when you are a child and you mimic and you duplicate the things that's going on in your surroundings and your environment, that makes sense. That is a normal progression of human development. You should be able to step away from that and be like, this ain't right. This is not how I want to live. I don't want to be a drunk like my father or my mother. I don't want to have 10 children by 7 different women like my father. And I'm not saying that's my father. I'm just saying, I'm just hypothetically, right? So you got to be able to look at these situations and do things a little bit differently, but we keep doing the same thing over and over again, and we keep repeating the same cycles. In religion, it's just one of the things. Like, I don't want you to just think critically about religion. I want you to think critically about every aspect of your life, whether it be your relationship, your career, how you want to make money, your education. I want you to think critically about everything in your life. That's it. I'm not going to go into like quoting sources and I don't care what Stephen Hawking says. I don't care what anyone says. Again, not disrespecting anyone. I don't care what Dr. Clark says or Dr. Ben or anyone. Okay. I'm getting things from my own mind. And this is the mistake that we often make. We keep quoting people. Okay. We keep repeating things that other people have said. Marcus Garvey said this, or Malcolm said this. Like, what are you going to say? Those people, again, they did some great work. They put in a lot of time, and they spent a lot of time in their lives, just trying to, put knowledge out there and understanding out there on certain things. But, what are you going to add to the world? What are you going to leave behind? What is going to be your contribution? So I don't like quoting people. I have a brain, it works, it is mature, and I'm able to come up with my own thoughts. So, and lead my own life. That's why I say that I am God. Okay. I am. So that I don't need to look any further. One thing you have to also understand, and in the title of the video, the reason why I titled it, It's Impossible for God to Lie. My expectations for other people are balanced. Okay, those expectations are balanced, but the expectations that I put upon myself are very high. So if I'm going to have high expectations, I have the same expectations. Those expectations are going to be pretty high for someone who has all the power and can do whatever it is that they want to do. So when I say it's impossible for God to lie, what that means, because I consider myself to be God, it's impossible for me to lie, right? So you can tell someone something, but inside you know what the truth is. So it's impossible for you to lie. Look at your life, look at the things that you've done, and look at the things that you haven't done, and look at the decisions that you've made and the result and the outcome of those decisions. And it will tell you what your life looks like. Your life is going to be indicative of those things. So it's impossible for you to lie. When someone, when they're like, man, I did this, man, I did, you're like, man, boy, you have done nothing. You haven't done anything. And the person hasn't done anything because their life doesn't reflect that. Okay. So it is impossible for God. It's impossible for you to lie, because even in doing so, what the truth is inside in here. So, but if you're reading that in this book, and that's why I do these talks, because I want to teach you how to look at this thing in a whole different perspective. When I read the Bible 20 years ago, it doesn't, none of these things mean the same thing as they mean to me right now. You know what I mean? So I can pull out a verse and pull out something, and it can mean something. It's going to mean something totally different because my mind is different now. When you are writing something, right? I want to just literature, and this is what makes sense to me, right? And this is like almost irrefutable. This is like almost irrefutable. People talk about, I'm gonna prove this and I'm gonna prove that. I just use common sense, like arguments. Like this is almost irrefutable. Like if I asked you, what does cranes in the sky mean? What does that mean? Like, you know, and I use that because a lot of people have heard that song, Cranes in the Sky, right? When you hear that song, Cranes in the Sky, like the first time you hear that title, you like, you know, cranes in the sky, you think of maybe like cranes flying birds, like in the sky, cranes in the sky. But then you listen to the lyrics, you know, the things that Solange is talking about in that song, you like, yeah, maybe it doesn't, I don't get it, I don't understand. So, but if you ask what cranes in the sky means, if you ask one person, they may say one thing. You ask another person, they may say something else. But if you go ask Solange what cranes in the sky means, she can tell you. She can explain it to you because she's the one that wrote it. Okay? Just like if I ask you what does you stood when the world under me missed? If I ask you, I was like, what does that mean? One person may say one thing, another person may say something else. But you know what? I can tell you what that means because I wrote it. I wrote it. I can tell you what it means. So if you look at the Bible, everything in this world, come on now. When I say the stupid God, because he's making a lot of stupid decisions in this stupid book, and it's got the world in a stupid. Everything in this world, in your life, since you've been alive, is being improved upon. Okay, electricity, vehicles, travel, everything, airplanes, everything. When someone invents something, it never stays the same. It always gets improved upon. Mankind is always making improvements to something that's great, even a great invention. The first time someone created a television, it was like, wow, television. It was black and white. And then someone decided to make it color. Then someone decided to make it HD, the internet. It was first plug-in internet. That was awesome. And then someone said, you know what? We don't need to plug it in anymore. We can make it wireless. Everything is being improved upon. This is common sense. It's common sense, right? So the God doesn't improve. He keeps everything the same, right? His book doesn't improve. When this could be solved very easily, right? God comes to me because, you know, we have to help God out. Like people have to help God, right? Like Moses did, right? The dirty dog Moses, all right? Dirty Moses, the murdering Moses, the coward Moses, you know, the one that ran off. Took him 40 years to, go back and rescue his people that he left in slavery. You know, I don't know why it takes God 430 years to get his people out of slavery. When he could just do it at the snap of a finger. But 430 even years, which adds up to 7, which is a number that appears in the Bible over and over again. That number 7, 430 years, right? So the dirty dog Moses had to talk to God and tell him don't annihilate his people, right? So we have to explain things to God if he did exist. So if God came to me, Ricky Swink, and said, look, Rick, this is what I need you to do, man. I was like, hold on, God. No. I was like, why are you telling me? Because this is a part of the problem. You're telling one person something, another person something. You're telling a few people what you need them to do when you could just tell everybody at the same time. No one should have to preach the gospel. No one. It's not necessary. When God could just pop up in the sky, if he was real, and just tell everybody what they need to do, especially right now when we have video technology. We have recording devices. You know, and no one would be confused. No one would be fighting. There would be no religious wars. There wouldn't be Muslims fighting against, you know, whoever. You see what I'm saying? So all of these things, if I can solve that, I graduated Job Corps. I don't claim to be some brilliant genius. You know what I mean? So if I could come up with that in my own mind, do you mean to tell me the creator of the universe can't see that and think that that's a good idea? You know what I mean? So that's why I know it's not real. Also, when people say God is perfect, you just haven't looked at that right. Okay, and I ain't even talking about the things that he did in the Bible. I'm talking about just looking at things for what they really are. Okay, let's look at the solar system, right? Okay, we have 9 planets, right? Or they say Pluto is not a planet anymore. They say it's a dwarf planet. So, you know, God is Pluto a planet? He don't know. He's stupid. So he don't even know if Pluto is a planet either. So, but let's just give him credit for 8. Okay, so we got 8 planets and only one sustains life. That's 1 out of 8. 1 out of 8, that's 12%. If you scored 12% on anything that you did, that's a fail. Okay. You know, if you sports, I know a lot of people like sports. So if you batted 1 for 8, that's a fail. If you shot 1 for 8, that's a fail. I know you wouldn't want to go to a surgeon where one of his patients, 1 survived and 7 of them died. I know you wouldn't want to go. I know you wouldn't want to fly in a plane with the pilot where he landed 1 plane safely and the 7 other planes crashed. You know what I mean? So just and then the earth is not perfect. The earth is trying to kill you. Earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes. So when people say, well, God is perfect, he created the earth. No, he's not. He was 1 for 8. He's 1 for 8. And we haven't found another planet where there's life on it. So you think that that's a miracle and you're happy about it? No, it's not. It is a fail. It's a fail. So, you know, you just haven't looked at these things in the right perspective.